Regarding time, like speeding up, my only kind of explanation of that would be that because our collective frequency is just, well, the frequency of the Earth, the planet, I mean, it's all one essentially, is like raising. It's like those radio waves, like long radio waves, they're like this, like a slow frequency goes like this, it goes faster and faster. And eventually you're vibrating so fast that it's timeless. Time is just gone.
Hello and welcome to Peaceful Rebellion, and hello to Pat. How are you, Pat?
Hi, Gordon. Great to be back here with you. How am I? I'm well, thanks. I'm good.
Good.
I'm very well at the moment. Yeah, I've experienced a lot of shifts in my consciousness, which has been interesting. A lot of so-called what are they called? Ascension symptoms and things like that. Have you heard
Ah,
about that? Feeling like nauseous, a lot of burping, and yeah, so my system's definitely been upgrading.
mm, mm.
And I feel that, yeah, it normally comes in waves. So I'll get like a big expansion of consciousness and have a lot of kind of wisdom come to me. And then I'll have to integrate that into the body mind by doing a lot of love, essentially, because as the light kind of expands, the shadow comes up. I see it like this anyway, like the shadows that you previously like rejected and pushed away, they come up to the light to be seen and to be loved. So I don't know if you've experienced that as well, but that seems to be the way for me, like expansion and then integration. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I see. I think the most important thing is the fixing of the issues, and then we have a little break in between where we're feeling, like the Buddha, and then we get back into it again. Ongoing process.
Yeah.
So you
Uh,
Pat, we talked about how long ago did we talk? A couple of
I
months?
think it was maybe a couple of months ago, a
Maybe a
few
bit.
months ago. That's the other thing. For me, time now, you're probably similar for yourself. Like, I have no idea what day it is half the time. I'm really just not, yeah, focused on past or future. So whenever anyone asks me to like reference the past, I don't know, but it feels like a couple of months ago, I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably more. Certainly, when I look at time, I think that'll be about 2 months, and I look and this was 4 months, or something like that. I tend to underestimate time. Interestingly enough, um, there's a lot of chatter that's going around. I don't know if you've seen this, because they turned off CERN. Have you heard?
Yes, I heard about that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, there's all kinds of ideas about what that is. But suddenly everyone's saying, time's starting to go slower now. And because, everyone would say, well, my goodness, it's going so quickly. But it isn't something I'm aware of. I don't know whether you've heard that, but, I've heard a lot of people saying, yeah, time's really going slowly now.
I've not felt that it's been going slowly, to be honest. It keeps on going faster and faster. Since, yeah, the news from Sa I'm really out of touch with what's going on in the world, in the Matrix and all. Like, I see it as a big show, to be quite frank with you. I see it as like it's all pre-scripted and pre-planned, but on every level, on the
Hmm.
divine level, level of astrology, but also obviously on the level of the Matrix and whatnot. So yeah, but I did hear about them turning off CERN and yeah, CERN's something I looked into a few years ago because it's a big kind of buzzword in the
Hmm.
conspiracy world. And there are a few different theories on it, but I've not looked into it. I don't have any kind of intel on what it is or my kind of intuition. It's probably something spiritual, like opening portals, or they are trying to open portals to like lower dimensions. That's my kind of like
Sure.
feeling on it. So like they're trying to amplify, the satanic rituals they practice and whatnot, just trying to amplify it on that level and open up, yeah, holes into other dimensions and whatnot. There's that aspect to it, but part of me also thinks that it could be sort of like kind of like NASA in the sense that just a load of smoke and mirrors, a good way to steal money, steal resources, build underground bases. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing
Absolutely.
down there.
I mean, like you, I don't know. All I know is kind of in my heart, nothing good. That's just nothing good going on there, I don't think. Yeah. I don't know how you feel, but what I've noticed is that my life was pretty orderly in terms of, counting time, understanding where I am, and stuff like that, until the pandemic, until 2020. And since then, I have lost, and I listen to other people, and we've lost all concept of time or understanding or play. The timelines that we hold in our mind and our body have all become very, very weirded out, I think.
Yeah, definitely since 2020. I mean, a lot shifted in 2020, I feel. Um, Regarding time, like speeding up, my only kind of explanation of that would be that because our collective frequency is just, well, the frequency of the Earth, the planet, I mean, it's all one essentially, is like raising. It's like those radio waves, like long radio waves are like this, like a slow frequency goes like this, it goes faster and faster. And
Mm.
eventually you're vibrating so fast that it's timeless. Time is just gone. And that's what I've got a friend, a very good friend of mine who's a medium, and she talks about like in spirit on the other side or whatever. There's yeah, there is no time, but it's because they're vibrating so fast. So for her to connect to that other side and be like the medium, obviously it's what it is, in between the different dimensions, they have to lower their frequency, and she has to raise hers like massively, and then they meet in between there. So I find it fascinating. So that would be my only explanation of it. People say that they like, oh, you time's going quicker because you're getting older, and I'm like, I'm only 32. Like, surely it can't be going that fast. That's ridiculous. I hope it's not the case, but
Yeah. Yeah, there is. I mean, there always has existed that the journey to the destination always seems to be longer than the journey back home again. Things like that. That's fair enough. But my son's only 14, and he says, "I can't believe how quickly the time's going." So
wow.
it's not it's not just for older people.
Mm.
I heard a brilliant. There was a man many years ago when I was just starting to wake up, 20 years ago, and he'd give this speech about where we are and about the way that the Earth, and lots of people have said it, is this toroidal field. And what he was saying was that where we are now is we've done the outside, which is very slow and very, very measured. And now we're going down through the center of the toroidal energy field. And he was saying that 20 years ago, time is going to speed up, it's going to become faster. Events are going to happen at such a pace that we won't be able to keep up with them. As whereas, go back, I don't know, 60, 70 years, and like one event would happen every few months, and everyone would be shocked and horrified. We have like seven of them a day,
Yeah.
you know? And that's where I think that's where we are. Everything, in terms of events. I mean, can you keep up with what's happening? I know you don't really look at it, but even if you were looking at it, could you keep up with what's happening in the world?
No, and I wonder if that's the point almost that those of us who kind of are just unplugged from the matrix, as it were, just yeah, unplug ourselves, and yeah, because there's so much going on. If you were to look at it through a lens of someone who's vibrating on a lower frequency, maybe it is different and not so crazy and overwhelming. Although I even think a lot of people are getting quite overwhelmed by the news and things. Or a lot of like more normal people seem saying to me, they never say anything good on the news, do they? And I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you this for the past 15 years to stop watching it, but whatever. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I'm so, yeah, just not bothered by it. I think some people have we're all playing our different roles here, right? I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my role is to be very direct and spiritual, and I kind of put words. I try and get my words out and communicate truth in an ultimate sense. I've even spoke to my medium friend like about I'm open to it and I believe it because I mean I've seen so much evidence for mediumship and whatnot or interdimensional aliens, things like this. But I don't care for it. I'm really not interested. I'm kind of like a radical. What do I know absolutely to be true right now? And I go from there.
yeah,
But yeah, some people who are like interested in the news and like the current events and are talking about it. Yeah, they've got their role to play. And yeah, but for me, I don't care, quite frankly. I don't care. I just see it as a complete show. Um, and yeah, like I said, it's just not where I'm to be of service, quite frankly.
sure.
Similar way, yeah, some people will get upset, like, how can you not be interested in the news? What's going on? Like, it's just not my place. And I see people get passionate and into it. And I'm like, yeah, go, like, please do it. You know, if whatever you're passionate about, wherever your like truth is, wherever you're like your heart's taking you, go that way, go that way. If it's taking you that way of wanting to speak out about the like clown world, the madness that's happening, or the conspiracy theories, like you have to do it. It's your duty.
Sure.
Um, if not, if not, you know, it's not the case. But
Sure. And I think I agree with what you're saying. I think it's a process that we all have to go through. You know, if I went back at the beginning, the first 5 years of me sort of becoming aware of what was going on in the world, I spent a lot of time telling people about it. You know,
yeah,
yeah, look, there's a little. I remember having a conversation with my aunt, and she said, and I said, I don't watch the news anymore. I switched the TV off, and I won't watch the news ever again. And she said, why? And I said, well, for all the reasons, you know, we don't need to go into them. She said, but you must be informed.
yeah,
And I said to her, why exactly? Why specifically must I be informed? Because when you're informed, you can do something about it. And I said, and tell me what I can do about it then once I
yeah,
know. And she said, let me think about that one. And she still hasn't come back to me yet 20 years later. But it's this idea of at the beginning, I felt passionate. I needed to go down all the rabbit holes. I needed to know what was going on because I'd come from a place of, you know, the El mundo de chupis, as they say in Spanish, is like living in fairy world. I was
yeah,
happy as Larry. I thought everything was lovely,
yeah.
and then you discover it's not, and you think, well, I've got to find out why it's not and what's happening. But then once you've discovered it, then it's just like raking the muck all the time just to keep doing that. That's not fun anymore. You know, I think that's just a very small part of our journey, which is the next step is the one that you're describing is, hey, let's go within. Let's find out what needs to be sorted, you know, because that's the journey back. But that's an important step. And I don't want to take it away from anybody who's going through that and saying, come on, but you can spot them. You know, the spot the ones who are telling you all the bad news and think, oh, oh God.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, mate. I think it's a it's a rite of passage in a way.
Yeah.
It's just how consciousness wakes up to itself. In most cases, I've known people who've had like spiritual awakenings and realizations of kind of like the spirit realm or feelings of complete oneness, and then they looked into the conspiracies. But for me, you know, it was very similar to yourself in a way. I was very like discontented with the world. I had so many questions as a kid that no one could answer, and I was very nihilistic from very, very early on as a child. And all I wanted was truth. I was like, I don't care what it is, I just want to know truth. Which led me to looking into like David Icke was one of the big
Mhm.
characters, one of the first ones, looked into that, and as crazy and as radical it seemed at the time, I was like, it resonates with me, and I'm just gonna go with that. But Yeah, but following that line of truth, really, it's a love for truth, I think, because if you follow that along, okay, it takes you to conspiracy theories and down like the deep, deep rabbit holes of even like occultism and things like that. I mean, I kind of love it. I find it really fascinating
Mhm.
and amazing and interesting how the world works. Syncretism's another big one I've looked into of how, well, flat Earth, you know, what the shape of this realm is, what it is, and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, my love for truth has brought me back to myself. Like this experience here right now. Like what do I know to be true?
Yeah.
And you come to the classic spiritual realizations of I am. And then that's another journey of like unfolding and flowering and that's actually how the dream gets re-dreamt eventually. Like when enough of us are kind of en masse take responsibility and realize that the darkness, the shadow figures, the very distorted levels of consciousness that are like objectively running the world. When we realize that is us, not just on the level of you know the people are the system, which is clear, like we are the system, but on a spiritual level of there is only consciousness and we are that, and reclaiming your own shadow. So any judgments and negativities, anytime you see that like that parasitic consciousness arise inside your own psyche, that's your job then. You have to like alchemize it and love it. And then through that, your works will just change. You'll open YouTube channels like you've done yourself. You want to talk about these things from a place of integration and love, essentially. And that actually is the frequency that will change.
Yeah,
like and redream reality. But you got to honor each stage of it. You wouldn't,
sure.
I'm sure you'd agree, you wouldn't want to force awakening on anyone because it's not comfortable. Like a consciousness growing like this is uncomfortable. There's a reason I feel that it takes the path it does.
Yeah.
It's kind of like trying to force a flower to grow, you
Yeah,
know. It's insanity number one, and number two, extremely it's lacking in compassion. And you've got to remember how shocking it was, like, yeah, for yourself, for example, what, 20 years ago you said,
sure.
when you started looking into those things, and like it rocks your world. Like it's it's horrendous, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
um but it is what it is. We've got to, if we want to stop dreaming a nightmare, we've got to wake up from it first, that's the thing.
Absolutely. When as you were talking, I was thinking because the emissaries that come talk to me, they talk about the three steps to awakening, which is awakening to the world, awakening to self, and then awakening to God. And it's this journey outwards, inwards. Yeah.
Mm,
And it's also as a therapist, what I see is it's the loss process. We've got to going through the loss process, which is exactly what happens when you wake up to the world. You have to lose. You've lost everything that you've known. Everything that you knew to be true is lost. And the further you get in, even more, everything, but it's kind of like this denial and then anger, depression that you get
mm,
into, and that's the danger is that lots of people get stuck there in the anger and the depression, and the poor souls, they're going around and they're shouting at everybody, "You idiots! You should know this. This is what's happening." And Pizzagate, and and all of that. The tunnels, the tunnels.
yeah.
If I had €5 for every time I heard the tunnels, my God, I'd be rich. And but then there's this point, with this beautiful point in the loss process, which is acceptance, where you say, so this is it. I accept it. As soon as you accept it, all the anger and the depression falls away, because it's an acceptance. And from that point, which is I think is the journey, the starting the journey within. And then from the acceptance, then you can then forgive. And then once you've forgiven, then you can learn from it. And it's this beautiful process that's been programmed into our universe, I suppose. And that's, it's the same. I see the same thing, and everybody has to go through it. And as you said, you can't skip the loss process. You can't say, I can't believe it happened. All right, well, I accept it. Like Erica Kirk, I forgive him. She talk about skipping the loss process. Right, I forgive him. That's it. Day and a half later. So you've got to really go through it, and it's a tough process. But once you allow yourself to go through it, then you end up in such a better place.
Yeah, and what came to me there, as you said the word acceptance, was the Hawkins scale of consciousness. Have you seen that? But
Tell me about it, and I'll tell you if I've seen it.
yeah, I'll see if we can get up on screen or something. Yeah, the David Hawkins scale of consciousness. I'd have to show you it, but it's numerically done. I think he muscle tested for it, but it's something you'll see it and it'll
Oh,
resonate with you
yes,
straight
of
away.
course. So yeah,
The
the
color,
scales. Yeah, the,
yeah,
the scale of yeah, yeah.
scale of consciousness. You got like shame at the bottom, which
That's
resonates with
right.
the lowest
Yeah.
frequency, and he goes up, up and up and up.
To
And yeah, as you said,
enlightenment, yeah, up to enlightenment at the top, isn't it?
yes, yeah, I think it's like, yeah, 1,000 and whatever, 1,000 plus. Yeah, so we can't physically incarnate it more than that. I think, yeah, he talks about, like, Jesus would have been kind of a
Yeah.
1,000 or whatever. Um, but yeah, as you said, the word acceptance, yeah, I thought of that, and yeah, that's pretty much the point. I think it's above. What would acceptance be? Just above that, kind of like above pride.
Let
So
me
we
see if
get
I can.
anger,
Let me see if I
anger,
can
pride.
find it. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm just going to tell me the name of it. It was what?
It's the David Hawkins scale of consciousness.
Hawkins scale.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure
Yeah.
after Pride.
I remember doing a video on that, and I had the scale up as well. Let me just get the images, and we'll pull the scale up here. Yeah. Let's visit that and see if we can share the screen. Here we
Mm.
are.
Yeah, I feel it's so useful, so useful. I mean, the chakra systems are useful as well. You can kind of map reality onto anything essentially, but
Yeah.
this is. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Can
Yeah.
you see it there?
Yes, I can see it. It's
Is it small?
a little bit, yeah. Maybe if you could zoom in a little bit on the one
Um,
on the left
I
or,
don't even
or on
know
the
how
right.
I can zoom in. I might let me see if I can change the. Yeah,
Okay, that's better.
is that
Yeah.
better?
Perfect. Yeah, you can read them. Nice. Pride. Okay, so we've got acceptance is actually quite a way up, but yeah, courage, neutrality. Yeah, so maybe what you're speaking to there is
Ah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
would be a neutrality.
It's the tipping point, isn't it? It's
Mm,
the watershed of okay. Now what am I going to do about it? You know, that's as soon as you can accept it, then you can start doing something about it. It's when you can't accept it, you're powerless. You're a victim. So the neutrality is I'm no longer a victim. Now I'm going to do something. You know.
mm. Yes, yeah, and that would be yeah, it's got on the one on the left here. Yeah, courage. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so acceptance and reason, love, joy, peace, and I mean, after that, it's beautiful. After that, before that, it's a bit dodgy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I'll just stop sharing that.
yes.
Yeah. So tell me, Pat. So in a moment, we're going to talk about what you're up to as well, because I know you've been doing a lot of stuff. Uh, where do you see us now, and where do you see us going to?
Collectively,
Hmm.
I've struggled to answer, honestly. In a sense, it's inevitable. Like awakening is inevitable. Collapse of systems is inevitable as well. What that will look like, kind of on the other side, if you will. Um, I have no idea. I have no idea. And I can only speak from that which I experience right now, which is from the way things are going. I'll be living a lot more peaceful existence. But how it's gonna like materialize and whatnot. Um, it would make sense that yeah, the old systems were kind of and as they're simultaneously they're kind of collapsing.
They are.
We're rebuilding it right at the same time. I mean, it's all perfect. I have a quote with my friend. We say God doesn't miss. Like there are no mistakes. God doesn't miss. It's all divinely orchestrated physics essentially. So as things yeah collapse, like rebirth is happening through us essentially on an individual level. We're ascending, our consciousness levels are ascending, but then obviously yeah collectively it's gonna affect what you do, what your passion is. And for me, I just more and more, as much as I love teaching languages, which I do as my job with my company, Laid Back Languages, I love that. But it's getting to a point for me where I just want to be in front of people and doing healing work essentially. So I'm a qualified psychotherapist as well, and I really want to bring a new framework into psychotherapy, one that includes the spiritual dimensions, because at the moment you've got psychotherapy that just kind of keeps people in the mind, in the ego essentially. And my feeling on it is you should really be doing enough healing work to that realize that oh if I've if my thoughts change and if my belief systems have changed over the years or 10 years ago I was like this and now I'm like this then I can't be that. I must be that which is observing, and that's where the spiritual dimension comes into it. But in traditional psychotherapy there's no space for soul or spirit or any kind of woo woo really. They'll hint at it, but there's no framework for it. So I'm kind of quite passionate and focused now on drawing up new frameworks. Some people call it non-dual therapy. I don't know if you've heard that term.
No, I haven't.
Non-dual therapy, so that'd be non-duality essentially. So therapy done with a person where I'd sit across from a person and I wouldn't bypass their story or their traumas of what they've been through as a person. So like the Western kind of psychology, I wouldn't bypass any of that. But I also wouldn't bypass the divinity in them and the realization that they are whole. Like no one is broken. Everything is whole and is eternally whole. And there is only God essentially. So kind of holding space for both dimensions and kind of meeting in the middle. So not bypassing the person, which a lot of spiritual people and some practices in the East, they bypass the person. So they may have been raised, have loads of trauma in their body mind field, but have this constant, there is only the divine, there is only Brahman, everything is good, everything is fine. Like, in the New Age, you call them the love and light people. But
Sure.
they're still suffering, and they're
Right.
creating more suffering from their suffering, because they're constantly seeking to fix their pain, rather than sitting with it. So yeah, I'm passionate about, yeah, giving a space for people to do the trauma work, meet them at the right, meet the ego, meet the person, but also not bypass truth and the divinity of all of this. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's an example of how things are changing. But
Mm.
yeah, how it's going to look. I'm kind of, when I talk to people about it and actually sit and think about it for a while, it's exciting. It's exciting. I've always loved truth, and seeing, as as painful as it is for myself and everyone really collectively, seeing truth be manifest, or let's say a clearer reflection of how reality is, be kind of birthed and manifested onto this plane. Like it's awesome, it's beautiful. Like it's what we came for. I feel like a lot of us kind of came for this like big show almost. So yeah, that's kind of how I see things
Okay.
happening. But yeah, I would always speak to the person really, and like empower the person in, and yeah, if they're focusing on, like, because I got caught in this a little bit of, we heard about the going from the 3D to the 5D, like into the new Earth and things. And I was almost kind of, there was part of me looking for that. I was like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Have we done enough, shadow work collectively yet? Are we there yet? But like everything, it's an inside job. Like there is only you. There is only one. There is only God, consciousness, and we are all fractals of that. So then you are New Earth. Like it's not something external to you. It's a new, yeah, level of consciousness. Then uses our vessels to manifest. Yeah. So yeah, I'd always say to the person, like, bring it back to yourself if they were to ask me. Like, I know you're not asking me in that way of like a still, is it gonna happen kind of way? But that's what I would tend to say to people. Yeah, like, you only ever experience yourself, so do tell me, like, what's
Yeah.
it like?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
That seems that's nice and clear, and I agree with what you're saying is that the change that's going to occur is going to occur because we are going to change rather than change is going to happen around us and that will lead us to change. I think we are the ones, we've got to lead this. I have a lot of, you were talking about people doing therapy and bypassing the physical, bypassing the emotional body and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just, wanting to be the Buddha. And quite often I have people who come and they'll say, oh, I've got this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem manifests in my life. So I thought that I could do a past life regression and talk to my higher self and
Mhm.
sort that out. And I would say to them, rather than going to another life, do you think we should sort this life out first?
Yeah, talk to your wife maybe.
Yeah, this one first.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah.
so, I mean, yes, do I believe that other past lives have had some impact on us and we carry, yes, I do. But I do believe that this life is the one that impacts us the most, and the trauma that we have in this life is the one that we carry and we have to deal with. That's what we planned to do. We wrote our little script. Let's come here and sort this out. It wasn't, I'm going to come here and sort out all my past lives. No, no, I'm going to come here and sort out this one.
Mm.
So, I agree with that. And yes, I believe that something you said, I mean, this is a message that I've been given so often that everything must fall. The old system must collapse
Yeah.
to make way for the new system. And as you said rightly, and I'm very, very aware of it, that already the foundation's already laid for the new one, and people are working. They're just not getting the profile at the moment. We're not aware of all of the millions of people who are working on these fantastic things for us. I've talked to some of them. I've had the pleasure of talking to some of them, and it's all very small. And it's all sort of very, very community and stuff like that. But they're there. The ideas are there. They don't need to be made. Nothing needs to be invented. It's all there. you know, free energy. I mean, how many free energy devices have been made, and then the maker has then been
Yeah.
ousted out of this existence, or bored off or whatever. We've got everything. So all that we're waiting for is the collapse. That's going to happen whether we like it or not. We can see it. I mean, we're now in a place where we've moved. You mentioned the words clown world. That's that's not an exaggeration. We're now in a place where we've moved into. Have you ever seen a farce in theatre?
No, no.
Farce is the best theatre you can get, which is, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's a story there, but it's just ridiculous and hilarious. And that's where I see is we've gone from this was a written play, a play. Now we're in the farce bit, and you can't. I mean, it's very horrible, and it's the horrible things happening, but you can't really take them that seriously because the narrative has just fallen into disarray, hasn't it? Like everything around us, like doesn't make any sense anymore. So it's collapsing, and there's something that's going to come in its place. We might have a dodgy bit in the middle, I think. You know, the collapse and the regrowth. There might be a bit of a ooh, what the bloody hell? But I think very, very quickly, as you say, God doesn't miss. Very quickly, I think we'll see the regrowth. When? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that the outer is it's a complete reflection of the inner. So you can if you can map your own like inner journey, like you said, that feeling of like lostness or like in betweenness, you experience that as your consciousness rises as well.
Sure.
So yeah, it's odd because on one hand, yeah, we will experience it collectively in a sense, but ultimately. I would say to people, just focus on yourself, focus on your own journey, and that's where wisdom comes from anyway. Because yeah, like I said, the outer is the complete reflection of the inner. So that's why you can just watch your own self, your own ego, uh, your own little ascension journey, and you'll see how things pan out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that feeling of lostness. Yeah, it's odd really because yeah, it's a big grieving stage. Even for as you go through ego death and things like that, like it's you're not just grieving your own ego essentially, you're grieving the death of everyone you've ever known, like your friends and family. It's heavy, it's intense work, and people be going on that journey on an individual level, but yeah, obviously on a collective level as well. Yeah, we grieving as much as we want things to, die, as what the fast food restaurants and everything we know is like bad and all this shit, the banking systems, whatnot. We will still go through a grieving process of it, but it's yeah, it's just the ego's attachment to
Yeah.
it. So if you just concentrate on your own kind of individual personal journey of it, it will be blissful seeing it happen rather than terrifying as it happens collectively. But it's difficult to say. I do feel it's kind of it's imminently happening now, and it's happened, and it is done in a sense. I do feel that yeah, it comes back to time really. I struggle to think and project and see how things are gonna go because. There is no future. There is only the eternal now, and we are that. What is playing out is a complete play. And yeah, I think that yeah, you only experience yourself. So some people are going to be in heaven, some people will be in hell, but it's already the case now. No, I mean, look
Yeah.
if we look around, always has been the case. But yeah, if you get two people sat on I could sit someone right in this room next to me experiencing seemingly the same environment or whatnot, but we're not. We're experiencing completely different worlds. Someone could be in a hell realm, someone could be in kind of okay, chilled, a bit, of acceptance. Someone could be in complete bliss and heaven. So yeah, I'd say that to people, like focus on creating or realizing rather your own bliss and follow truth. And yeah, ascend through love. Love is the way. Love through the heart. I mean, if you look on the heart chakras in the middle, right? That is the portal to higher uh dimensions,
Yeah.
and
Just
which
looking at
I
the list: love, joy, peace. Ah, it's from the Bible. Love, joy, peace, and then enlightenment.
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. So listen, we've got, we'll chat for 5 or 10 minutes just about you and what you're up to. Give us an overview on I think you've opened up a YouTube channel, have you not?
Yeah. YouTube channel called Oneness of Words, and on Instagram as well. Kind of just sharing with people what I've come to, the bits of wisdom, let's say, that have come to me. I've got notebooks filled with them. I've got like, with intermittent bits of like shadow work that I've been doing in there. So I've got some like shadow work, and then I've got wisdom that comes after, and then some shadow. And I've just been sharing, yeah, the bits of wisdom, and my real passion and love, aside from truth and humor as well, which I love comedy, I love humor, is languages and words.
Mhm.
Obviously, I speak six. I'm learning Greek at the moment as well, which is really
Uh,
cool. It's giving me some good like etymological gems and things I can like link different words and create different word spells essentially. That's like and we talked about my book last time. I got this one. This is basically a book of white magic essentially. It's a book that it's got a load of spells. It shows you the illusory nature of words, how like all words are symbols, they're all made up, and how this will point you back to your eternal like true nature. And so Oneness of Words, the YouTube channel, I'm doing a series at the moment called Redreaming the Word Matrix. And I think we might have touched on this in the last video we did, like do the triangles, you know? So I draw big triangles, got a big whiteboard that I normally prop up behind me. Big triangles. To the triangle as well, this is also another symbol we are redreaming and reclaiming and taking back, because all symbols are just symbols, but we've been made to fear this, which is it's the Holy Trinity in awareness. I mean, it's completely divine or demonic, depending on the frequency at which you're dreaming it at. So I'm reclaiming the triangles and having words such as truth. I think it's one we talked about before. A lot of people use the word truth so candidly in a way that they say, I know truth, or this is my truth. This is my truth, this is your truth. Truth and a lie, we say like to lie is the opposite of to tell the truth, right? But a more skillful way of using that word is to have truth at the top as a non-dual word and say truth is the all. True, I am truth. You are truth. This is truth. This is truth. All is truth. Truth has no opposite. The actual opposite of to lie is to be honest. And those are that's the duality.
yeah.
And that's where it just completely dissolves conflict. If you use words in such a way. So yeah, words like truth, love is another one I'd put as a non-dual word at the top of the triangle. Love is what we are. It's being. You don't love another. What happens when you love another or feel love? It's because you're temporarily losing your ego, essentially. It's temporarily dissolving into the love that you are as consciousness, as awareness. And then it comes back online, and that's when attachment starts, and it goes, oh, she gave me love. I love this person. And it puts conditions on the love, to make me feel that feeling of like joy and bliss. You need to do this and you need to be this way. It's conditional love, but love is unconditional, as is being. So I would put being at the top as well. So being, love, um, yeah, God is another word I like to redream because a lot of people use it in a very religiously way. Certainly, um, a few of the people who have read my book, they really resonate with it. They'll get to the chapter which is God is good, and because they've got such strong conditioning from like the churches of God being a man in the skies, like an old man with a beard, like dictating to everyone, saying, "Do what I say, or else you're going to go to hell," whatever. Um, yeah, that word's been dirtied completely, and yeah, I want to redream it and reclaim it. So yeah, my channel, my work's very much about reclamation, reclaiming words, recognizing their illusory nature first and foremost. Like they are just symbols, they're non-dual. You speak Spanish and French as well, is it? You speak some French?
A very small amount. I'm
Okay.
learning Esperanto though.
You learn in
Going,
Esperanto.
yeah, I'm going well.
That's a perfect example at Esperanto because it's such a recently made up language. Like all languages are made up. They're just symbols. Like words are just symbols. So yeah, helping people see the illusory nature of words and then using words in a way because they are super powerful. Like we've just been sat here using words to communicate. Um, we've not just been sat here just going, like we've been using words and it's been creating images and words create the world quite literally.
Absolutely.
So although they're illusory, they're extremely powerful. So yeah, my work's about reclaiming them and redreaming them, using them from you can say like a fifth dimensional level of consciousness or more skillfully. I like to say to people, just use it more skillfully,
Hmm.
You don't have truth, you are truth. And it resonates with people when you use truth in that way as well. They go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And you feel relaxed. You're like, oh, so it's not the case of my truth is the truth, or even I have my truth, they have their truth. Like we are truth. And as we are truth, what we believe gets reflected back to us. That makes so much sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it does make sense.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my place of work at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll put in the video information, we'll put your channel and we'll also put a link to you for your book as well, yes?
Yes, please. Yeah, yeah. This is my soul work, so I'm so passionate about it.
For
And yeah,
sure.
if anyone has questions, like just message me, ask me, because this is all I want to talk about, really. As
Mhm.
much as I love my job and doing languages and whatnot, I just want to be teaching and guiding and yeah, sitting with people as
Yeah.
they yeah evolve and whatnot.
Have
So.
you got any events coming up? I know you've been doing some speaking in places. Have you got anything coming up?
I will do in September. I'm gonna go do some more events in summer here in the UK. It's pretty dead. The
Of course.
events, like just because the weather's nice, people are outside, or
Yeah.
like down where I live down in Dorset, they're at the beach. They don't want to be in a village hall talking to people about crystals and things. They want to be on the beach, which is fair enough. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, but yeah, more events like that, and I've got some other plans as well of like creating a community and getting a space where people can do healing work and yeah, I can share and guide and yeah, that's something that maybe in a couple of months we'll talk and that'll
Fab,
be
yeah, yeah. And if you've got any
manifest.
events coming up, please send them to me and I can post them on as a message on the YouTube channel. Because there's lots of viewers who are in the UK, who might be able to
Mm.
attend, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant.
Mhm. Okay,
Awesome.
well, Pat, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your time and your knowledge. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Very
Yeah,
useful.
likewise, Gordon. Thank you so much for having me on, mate. Really appreciate it. And God
Okay.
bless you and good luck with everything. Keep it up, man. It's
The
awesome.
same, the same for you. I wish you every success in everything that you're doing as well. For
Thank you very
for
much.
the greater good. The greater
Exactly.
good. Okay, take care.
Thank you. Cheers.